Alrighty, we are live, back with the Dana Show once again. I'm Dana Bentz, your host, and today we have some special guests, some friends of mine. We have David and Bobbie Deierling. Welcome to the show, you guys.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, we're excited about it.
Yeah, good. So you guys and I have kind of a unique relationship. Some of the people I interview on my show, I've never met before the show, but we've kind of gone back now a year, maybe 2 years. How long has it been?
Definitely over a year.
It's been over a year. We started in November of 2017, I think. I think that was when we started the Portland Millionaire Mastermind Group.
Yep. So that's how we know each other. You guys are in the Portland Millionaire Mastermind Club. Yep. So, okay. Well, thank you for being on the show, David and Bobbie. So the reason I want to talk to you guys is, first I want to let the audience know why you guys are on the show. Like, what businesses do you run? What type of entrepreneurs are you?
Well, we are the wild and crazy type of entrepreneurs. You know, we want to do it all and do it up. Okay, me, I'm the person that does that. So we have several businesses actually that we work outside of my usual job, my job. One of our businesses is a wholesale real estate investing business where we capture a property and we put it under contract, and then we sell that contract to someone else who wants to fix the property up, do whatever they want with it, hold it, rent it. You know, that's not our concern. Our concern is selling the contract. So that's one of our businesses, and we've spent a lot of time really refining that and really just trying to figure out where we want to go with it, how we can advertise it, put all those kind of things together, put it in the mixing pot, and hopefully someone will grab that thing and go, hey, yeah, I want it. I want to sell you my house. That's one of our businesses. Yep. We have another business that we were involved with. That's a network marketing business. And we've been around, I've been involved with that off and on over about the past 15 years. And everything that I have learned from that business has been wholly applicable to my life, my job, as well as my relationships and my businesses. So it's been a great asset for me to be in a network marketing business like that. And we also have an Airbnb business. So we rent out 1 or 2 rooms of our house on a regular basis. That comes with some positives and some negatives. There's been some good stuff. There's been some not so good stuff. It does make us a little bit of money, but it's also a side income. So it's not a full-time income.
Yeah, side hustle and a stream of, not really an MSI so much as a side hustle.
Not really a stream of income. And it requires a lot of time and effort sometimes. You know, I know people have put together systems and been able to make it better, you know, and they can make a lot of money out of it, but we haven't been able to leverage that just yet. And then I'm a registered nurse full-time, so that's my full-time job. And my wonderful partner and homemaker here, Bobbie.
I wrangle him.
Takes care of everything else.
And try and do all those things we talked about.
I love that. I feel like you're saying that every week, Bobbie. You're like, I'm just, that's my full-time job is taking care of him.
Well, he has a lot going on. We have a lot going on.
We have a lot going on.
And you guys both have a lot going on.
Is something we're really pushing and launching right now. So when you're in those birthing times, it takes a lot of time and energy and focus, especially when you've got so many other things going.
Yep, that makes sense. So what got you guys, you crazy entrepreneurs, started in this entrepreneur lifestyle? Like, what started you on the first business, and then adding the second one, and then adding the Airbnb, and then like what got you going in the beginning?
My answer is easy. It's him. He's the driver. He's the dreamer. So I married in.
I love that.
Right.
Nice. David?
Yep.
So
take it away.
Honestly, it probably started when I was a kid. Grew up. The joke is I was raised by hippies and wolves, and it was the same person. And
his father didn't raise an employee. Let's put it that way.
My father didn't really raise an employee, And I come from a family of people who are tinkers and thinkers and engineers and
businessmen.
I'm not an engineer, but those kind of people, entrepreneurs, do business things, you know, whatever it is. So for me, it kind of started as a childhood thing. And I've always been like this big dreamer, get all these wild and crazy ideas all the time. Dana, you've heard some of those. And so that's kind of really how I started, was way back. The first business I got involved in way back in the day was, it was Melaleuca. That's right. It was Melaleuca. Sorry. Little plug for them. Kind of a different network kind of marketing back at that day. It wasn't a lot of education there. I got out of that quick. And then I got into who is now Network 21. And they are an amazing team of people. And their teaching, their training, their education, the materials that they refer really started blooming in me, that kind of bigger lifestyle, bigger dream, not just working for the man 40/40, but really creating wealth for myself.
Yeah, that was my first exposure to the entrepreneur instead of the employee mindset. And it was an easy sell, because being an employee is a dead end and being an entrepreneur is limitless. The only limits are self-imposed, really. Really
limitless opportunity, you know, and being an employee is, you're really trading your time for money, right? So that's where it is. And the Airbnb is really kind of a funny story. I needed to pay the mortgage. Again, I work as a nurse.
Times,
and that was pre-mortgage. Anyway. We needed money for something. I can't remember what it was. I'm like, I just need to make more money. And Bobbie was laying on the couch, not feeling so good.
This is what happens when Bobbie's not paying attention.
Yeah. So she's sitting on the couch next to me, not feeling so good. And I'm like, oh man, I got to find a way to make some more money. And
when we had these rooms, we have a 3-bedroom house. It's just us. So.
Yeah, we had an empty room, and there was a Facebook ad for Airbnb, and I was like, well, let's see what it's like to sign up. I signed up, and we had
really easy to sign up.
Really easy to sign up. I didn't do everything I needed to do. There were other steps I've had to take
post signing up. Some things that cost investment money that you don't always find out. Check with your city and make sure they don't have some extra ordinances, for example, an extra tax, for example.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So you run an Airbnb. It's not in Portland, right? Because I know Portland's been crazy about them taxing the Airbnbs and permits and things like that. Yours is outside the city?
Ours is an unannexed Washington County, but even Washington County would be different.
Yeah, every county is different. There's state things you have to do for like a lodging tax, and there's another tax that you have to pay too. I can't remember what it is, but it has to do with being like in the service industry of like a hotel or something like that. And then each county can be different, and then each city is also different. So like
some cities don't allow it at all.
Yep, some cities don't allow it at all. So even though Beaverton's in Washington County, we actually are able to run a little differently because we're unincorporated and outside of that. So, you know, getting a permit or a license or something like that, it's different for each county. So you always want to talk to an attorney, someone who can find the laws for you. Make sure if you're in an HOA, which is a...
Yeah, we had paid some of the taxes for Portland that we didn't have to pay at all. We took once we started getting serious about it, took our information to an attorney, and she actually pointed out that we're not in Portland. We didn't have to pay any of those taxes.
And we're not in their county, so we don't have to pay it. It's not a state tax.
You may have to do some things to follow the guides, but then you might also not have to do some things that you think you have to do.
So just like any business, you want to stay up to date with rules and regulations.
Do your due diligence.
And that, because it changes. I mean, the rental market in Multnomah County has significantly changed in the last couple of months, not to mention in the last year.
One more point is, we paid for that time with the attorney, but it turns out if we had sought that meeting first, we would have saved money. So it's worth it to consult
with a good attorney. Find the right attorney.
Yeah, she's a real estate.
So you're not governed by the city. You're governed by the county for the Airbnb specific permits. Now, what about if you were to
Airbnb and the city?
Oh, both. Okay. So what if you were to, you guys are just renting out rooms. What if you were to rent out the whole place? Does that change anything?
Yeah, in Portland, it changes things a lot. In Portland, that's one of the restrictions they put is you have to have someone in there as a residence for a certain amount of time every
9 months
year,
out of the year.
Amount of months per year, which makes it so that big investors can't just buy houses and Airbnb out a whole house.
That makes sense. But you don't have that law in where you are.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. That's a good point.
Maybe next year, because Salem is adopting some stuff for real estate investing, real estate buying, renting, leasing, sales, lease options, all those kind of things. So
once again, that changed. We were thinking about getting some holdings to do more Airbnb, and that kind of whatever Beaverton outright, Washington County outright has said that whatever works in Portland, they're going to adopt. So that changes our plan, right? That changes our. So pay attention to what's going on.
Yeah, that's smart that you guys are keeping up with Portland and you're keeping up with the Beaverton rules in case the Beaverton rules are going to change to be like Portland. Yeah. Because I know a lot of people who aren't buying places right in the city for that reason when they want to be landlords.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Multnomah County's crazy.
Multnomah County is really kind of crazy, and we just spoke with a real estate agent last night. We hosted a cash flow quadrant game, and he was saying, do not invest in Multnomah County. She goes, in fact, one of my neighbors across the street has 23 or 6 holdings there in the Portland city limits that are also Multnomah County, and he's lost hundreds of thousands of dollars over the last year because of the rule changes that have come up dealing with tenants.
Wow. Okay.
Which is only going to lead to investment in rental properties.
Yeah. Wow. That's
we have
crazy.
Hours of stories.
Oh, I bet. Well, I want to keep us on track. Yeah. So my next question is, so the show's all about entrepreneurs and to promote business and the side hustle, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So what would you guys say are the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur, running companies, running multiple companies? What's great about that and what's not so great about that?
Do you want to start?
Well, the pro, and they're kind of all wrapped up into one, which is that you are your own boss, so to speak. So you're accountable to yourself. You don't have a boss who's going to ride over you. The results you get are because of the, your own self-management. So you have to be your own manager. And for me anyway, I've been an employee all my life. So even though I've managed other people's businesses, it's different when it's yours. So, and especially juggling all of them. So the pro is that it's unlimited and I can grow for myself. And instead of, I have that skill set, obviously, because I managed other people's business to wealth, but changing that to managing my own business to wealth, it's different. It's empowering, and yet you can also really slack off on it. That's and the danger is all wrapped up into one.
Some of the pros I find of being an entrepreneur is I can design my own life and lifestyle. We just did a Darren Hardy training earlier today, and wow, I'm on a different path already. So I'm like, oh, I should have been thinking about that. But being an entrepreneur, I have a really hungry mind. I really want to learn and grow. And I'm not such a great employee. I figured out I'm not such a great employee. I'm better at working for myself and doing things that I want to do and I think need to happen, and all that stuff, kind of a driver personality. So that's a pro. But it's also a con, because sometimes I have a hard time listening to the advice or finding mentors to tell me the truth and not just someone who will say, yeah, that's a good idea. So that can be a pro or a con. It's my baby, which means it's also my baby. I can become really emotionally attached to any one of the businesses that we might put together, which is really awesome because it feels great when it's succeeding, but it really sucks when it's failing.
Right.
So that they can both be pros and cons in that way. finding a passion, finding a purpose, even just bringing passion to your purpose can be quite the effort. And it is worth it in the end, no matter what, whether anyone succeeds or not in an entrepreneurial spirit. I believe, it's my opinion, that anyone who learns and grows and continues to do that through their lifetime is already succeeding, whether they make any extra money or not. I think that kind of person is really living life. They're really grabbing experiences and adventures and whatever it is that excites them. You know, I mean, CPAs, they love numbers. They love all the bookwork stuff. Drives my mind crazy. So I have to hire someone to do that stuff. But, you know, those are pros and cons. Those are all kind of pros and cons. So, you know, on being an entrepreneur, there's risk. Some things have less risk than others, but there's always a risk involved. You might fail, might cost you a lot of money. Someone might take it from you. You might get sued, you know, or on the other side, you could be really successful. And, oh my God, what am I going to do with all that success? And who am I going to help now? And, you know, all these things kind of flit in the brain. And as Bobbie mentioned earlier, one of the biggest pros and cons is oftentimes this person right here, this 6 inches. Or in my case, 4.5 inches. I got a small head. But just joke. But anyway, oftentimes the pro and or the con, it can be just you and your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions. And you add on top of that the people that you're hanging around with and you're allowing in your life and the media that you allow to drive your life. Those can be either pros or cons as well. I mean, you really have to pay attention to who's coming in here, whether it's conscious or subconscious. I can talk for hours on that stuff. You know, I have. But be really careful. Be really, really careful of what you allow in.
Right. When you're it's important to anyone, but when you're an entrepreneur or have your own business, it's even more important.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that you brought that up, because it's so true that so many of those things can be pros and they can also be cons at the same time, like being your own boss. The guys I had on my show yesterday said the exact same thing. They're like, we love the freedom, but the freedom and being your own boss is such a pro, and yet it can also hold you back at times. And I know in our Millionaire Mastermind, every Sunday we talk so much about mindset, and that's exactly what you're saying is so important. Like, you can look at it one way, but you can also look at it the other way. You can look at it as a pro. You can turn something into a pro, which I love that so much. And I love how stoked you guys are about mindset, especially in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing I was thinking about kind of on that same stream is, when you make the decision to launch a business, you're obviously making it, something about it is exciting. You're not launching a business because you're bored about it. You're excited about it. You're excited about the possibilities. You're in that high state of emotion of like, yes, we can do this. Then later, when you're going through the humdrum or even having some failure or some slowness at the start or whatever, you have to continue on with that decision, even though that emotion of excitement has left. So you have to continue on in those moments when it's not exciting. When you're not getting the results you want, you have to keep going.
And that's paraphrasing what one of our favorite mentors says is, one, make the decision, and you might have to make it multiple times. You might not have made it well enough before. So make that decision, and then you have to manage that decision through to the end, no matter what it is.
Long after
success or failure. Because once that emotion is gone, there's the humdrum, there's the work, there's the getting in the grind.
Phone calls, you're stuffing envelopes.
Phone calls, right.
Typing, data entry, whatever. Yeah.
Talking with people, making mistakes, making successes.
Yeah, exactly. Having meetings that don't go well. You're no longer motivated after that. So you have to go back to your dream and your why.
Yep. And we learn that so much in our own businesses, being self-employed. It's like, you're going to have those days where you don't make any money that day, or you don't sell whatever you're selling that month or whatever. So yeah, I think that's so important. That I think the idea is persistence. Like, you've got to have that if you want to be an entrepreneur.
Daily persistence, daily persistence. Yep.
Yeah. One of our mentors, David Bridson, often brings that up, is that, keep track of that goal, that's over here. Keep track of that, and then reverse engineer that so that you're actually on track to get to that endpoint, whatever that endpoint is. And success oftentimes is the journey. It's rarely the end thing. It's almost always success is in the journey. We've heard that from many, many people over and over again.
The frustrating thing is that's true.
Frustrating thing
it's not
is
a get
true.
rich quick scheme. It costs time, it costs effort, it costs money. You don't have,
it costs emotions, stress.
So just make sure that you're asking for what you want, right? If you're going to pay the cost, make sure you're paying for what you want, which is an employment. I want to build my own dream. I've made other people lots of money, so.
Yep. I love that what you said earlier, Bobbie. You were like, your job is a dead end, but being an entrepreneur is limitless. And I think that's so true. Like, especially income wise, like you're not going to go, you can't, there's a limit on what your job will pay you.
There's only one boss.
And how often can you be replaced in moments at a job? You can get fired, and the next day someone else can be working in your same exact position.
Or your knee can go out.
Or your knee can go out. You can't work, or whatever.
Exactly.
So, but being an entrepreneur, you can always adjust your lifestyle and still make that money in that same business. You have control.
Especially having that on. My goal isn't so much to become a millionaire with $1 million in my bank account, but to become the person who can make $1 million over and over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I love that. I love that.
Whatever capacity it needs to be. If my knee goes out, and I was relying on my knee for that scheme, well, then I make a new scheme and I'm making $1 million. So that's my goal, is to become a millionaire in mind.
I love that. I love that. I feel like I've heard so many quotes spewed from Bobbie. I love it. These are all
have to do all that education, right? All that.
A lot of education.
A lot of books.
A lot of books, a lot of audio, a lot of mentorship, and a lot of relationships.
So last question I want to ask you, what's your next business idea, or what's next for you guys? What are you working on now? What's going to happen this year?
Well, we're going to be
$25 million. That's what.
We're going to be profitable with our wholesale real estate, because that's just, as you say, the next step. So our goal is not wholesale real estate. Our goal is to have our own, passive cash flowing real estate portfolio that we manage a portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
That's really where we're growing.
For step one is to do some wholesaling.
So this year,
that business.
So it's not really a new thing this year. It's a more refined focus to get down to that point where this business will start managing itself, and we can expand it to other areas of our wholesale real estate portfolio that we wish to grow. So that's kind of our biggest focus this year.
I love that. Cool. Well, I'm excited to see how you guys grow, and lucky for me, I get to check in on you guys every week in the Portland Millionaire Mastermind. So thank you guys so much for being on the Dana Show. It was wonderful to have you here. Now, awesome. Do you have any other things that you would like to say to our viewers? Do you have any words of advice or tips for the aspiring entrepreneur?
Just surround yourself with good people, which I think we already covered. Just, surround yourself, that influence, the power of influence and the power of association, especially for, someone who's an entrepreneur, because you're already doing something outside the box, doing something outside the norm. Most people don't come from families of entrepreneurs. Most people are the first entrepreneur in the family. So seek out other people who are striving to be such. Seek out people who are already doing it. Seek out those associations, even if you can't find them in person, face to face. Get their book, get their workshop, get just in any way you can. That's where all that great quote came from. All those great quotes came from, right?
Yeah. I've got a lot I can give. I'll keep it as short as I can. Right. So Jim, I'll start with this. Jim Rohn, who's one of my favorite mentors. I've read his stuff, listened to his audios. He's amazing. One of the most important things he said was, work harder on yourself than you work on anything else, and you will succeed. You will succeed. He also says, work on bringing value to the marketplace. Whatever value you bring, that's what you will be paid on. If you're an employee, be the best employee you can be. Bring the most value you can bring to whatever job it is that you do. Why? Because you will succeed. It may not be particularly at the job. It might be another opportunity that could come up, but be the best person you can be. You know, I'll probably just leave it at that. I'll leave it at that.
And one more thing is, you know, launching into an entrepreneur, launching into business, you know, really hone in on your passion, on your why. Why? Because most of it isn't actually the money. You know, of course, we want to be our own bosses. We want to make money. We want to have a life of financial freedom. But why? So answer that question, because that's what you'll need to go back on when you're no longer motivated to make that phone call, when you got rejected and they pooped on your dream, and you know it's your baby, and you got to go back to your why, because that doesn't matter when you're in tune with your why.
Yeah, refer back to that burning desire, whatever that burning desire is.
Yep, and just like you guys said, like that'll keep your persistence strong.
Keep
it does. And, you know, really, Bobbie said it already, was just surround yourself with the best you can surround yourself with. The books, audios, videos, blog posts,
right, actual
people, you know, mentors, teachers, life, nature, meditation, whatever it is you need. And the more you put that in here and in here, the more it comes out. Everything we've spewed and talked about today is absolutely from that bookshelf back there full of books and another bookshelf full of audios and CDs and relationships that we've grown and had. It's all about that. I mean, that's it. That's how you make an impact and become a bright, shining star. You know, be the bright person that you can be. Bring that value to the life that you are destined to bring, whatever it is, you know, whatever it is.
I love that. Well, we'll end on that wonderful note. David and Bobbie Deierling, thank you so much for being on the Dana Show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's so fun. Thank you.
Yeah, and to all our viewers who are watching, thank you for watching the Dana Show, where we are talking to other entrepreneurs about how to run a business and the pros and cons of being an entrepreneur. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. Have a great day. Live long and prosper. Whoops, say it. Live long and prosper. That's what it is.
See you guys.
See ya. Bye.